Hey everyone, welcome to the second video in my tutorial series about the tower defense script pack that I released recently. This video will be covering creating towers, placing towers, and resource systems. So let's get started. As you can see here, I have a nice box with a cylinder coming out of the front, and it represents a tower, I guess. Some of the things you'll notice is the cylinder is the only object that has a collider, and the cylinder's layer is towers. That's important. You need to set your tower's layer as towers or whatever you have set up for an extra layer, because otherwise when selecting the tower or when placing a tower, the tower will try to select itself and it creates an issue. So I'm going to apply the tower AI script as soon as I find it. Okay, tower AI under towers, added, and I'm going to make this a shooting tower. You have three different options: area effect, shooting, and resource tower. And the GUI looks pretty much similar, except for the resource tower. But I'm going to set this as active. You can have all three of them active at once, or you can have any of them individually. You can have any combination you want active at once, and it'll do each of those effects. So set it to active, and as you can see when I set it to active, the attack range and collision range objects are generated. You won't need to do anything with these objects other than, if you want, the attack range is actually a display range that whenever you're placing the tower, you'll see the display range. I'm going to change this to a nice, let's do green this time. The green color doesn't really matter, it's up to personal preference. And I'm going to change the range to 20 for my tower, and as you can see, the objects change. The collision range is what actually functions for the tower to know if an enemy unit is within its area. So over here you have the attack rate, attack damage. None of those are really important to me right now. I will make this a kind of frost cannon tower, so it will have a splash effect, splash damage of 10. The projectile will be the sphere up here, and to create a projectile you just need to go to the sphere, make it a trigger, add the projectile script to it, and if you want it to have splash damage, you just add the splash object to it and click check on the splash effect on the tower AI thing, on the tower AI script. Add the splash effect script to your second object that will be the splash effect, and that is all. Pretty much, you don't need to add any of these values. So back over here, I have the projectile set up. I need to add a muzzle point, so I'm going to add this game object, which was my muzzle point, and it's at the very end, and it's forward on the z-axis, which is important because the tower will rotate towards the z-axis. So display range when placing, that will display the green sphere when I'm placing the tower, which is what I want. And the effect, I will make it a frost cannon. So I have two effects built in, the slow and the burn, and I didn't put 100 in because it really depends on user preference. The slow has two variables, the amount and duration. So amount and duration. And it will just decrease the speed of an enemy unit by that much. So I don't have any upgrades for this tower, so I'm just going to skip over that. I'm going to go to target types, and there's target and tower types. Target types are what the tower will actually target based off of a tag that is applied to the object. So if you have an enemy that is tagged with the enemy tag, or if you have an object tagged with the enemy tag, this tower will target that. If you have an enemy tagged with enemy flying, if you have an enemy tagged with the enemy tag and you have this set up, the tower will target it. If you have an enemy tagged with the enemy flying tag, this tower will not target it. Tower types I'll explain later whenever I get to the enemy AI script. So that's pretty much setting up a tower. It's pretty simple. I'm going to add it to my prefabs down here. Now I need to make my resources. So I'm going to add the variable manager script under framework. I'll have two resources. The first one is always life. This is however many lives you have in this game. And the second one, and third one, and fourth one, and so on, is an actual resource. So this can be gold. the amount can be 1,000. I'm going to set up the GUI, and this is all up to your discretion. It's up to you however you want to set this up, based off of the version, based off of what you're running on. And 200, 50 by 50, and 1. So that's all up to you. You'll see how that actually impacts the look. Now I'm going to set up placing towers. That'll be under the Grid Manager script under Frameworks. There we go. I'm going to have one tower, the tutorial tower. Add that in here. And tutorial tower. The resources cost, it will cost 0 lives and 250 gold. Go over here. The grid lock needs to be set to true. The ground layer should be everything except for towers and ignore raycast. The towers layer is just towers. And the grid, display grid when placing, that needs to be set to true if you want to display the grid while you're placing, which actually just needs to be set to true. I should probably take that option off. And then grid folder, you need to set that. GUI again, so this will just be towers 475. I'm going for a vertical look. 0, 25, and 250. 50 by 50, and 2 buttons per row. The upgrade GUI. The location will be 475, 0, 125, and 250. Now the reason I set that as the exact same as above is because I'm going to set deactivate tower GUI when tower is selected to true, which is this option. When that's set to true, whenever you have a tower selected and you have the option upgrade, the tower GUI will disappear. When it's set to false, it won't. So that's pretty much the 3 scripts that I wanted to show, and I'll run this. Alright, I can place a tower, the display range appears and the grid appears, and I can place it, and I lose 250 gold. I placed 2, so I lost 500. There we go. And there we go. And if I select it, the upgrade will appear, but I don't have any options, so it won't do anything. Deselect, and that will reappear. So that's setting up towers and placing towers. Thanks for watching.